What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fezzy Fitness. So I'm gonna start another update video, this time with Brett Wilkin. Another guy who is making his Olympia debut this year. So he has been that guy who has posted a lot of physique updates throughout this year, especially during this year's Olympia prep. So it is his first ever Mr. Olympia, and not really talking about him. That is actually an advantage, because at this point Brett will be feeling no pressure whatsoever, because there aren't any high expectations from him going into the Olympia this year. If you go through all the Olympia discussions on any podcast, so Brett had an ideal off-season, an uninterrupted, unrestricted growth phase that started after the Legion Sports last year. Now, he did talk about doing a pre-Olympia show, but later they changed their minds, their plans, because he wants to peak 100% for the Olympia this year. So Brett, in his most recent physique update, looks dry, ribbed, shredded to the bone. And you bet, he's going to be amongst the most ripped guy come Olympia this year. I mean, he has always been that guy. His conditioning has always been top-notch. Now he did look pretty massive and very lean all throughout this year, even during the off-season. And that will eventually translate on the stage. But the question is, how much of that size, that volume, will Brett be able to hold on to as he gets stage ready? So Brett had a totally different experience, prepping with Stefan as his coach, opposed to Matt Jensen. And this was his first time in many years where he did not have a single cheat meal in about 12 weeks' time. So Brett looking ready way too early. That was deliberate by Stefan, his coach. So let's see how he looks after the carb up. So I believe there are two guys in this year's Olympia lineup whose glutes and hamstrings, they are gonna be as ripped and as shredded as Derek Lunsford, or very close to him. So Brett is definitely one of them, and the other one is Jordan Hutchinson. I mean, just look at that back double biceps, just under 2 days out. Absolutely ridiculous. Before you scroll or blink too hard, have you subscribed yet? Please don't make me bring out the emotional blackmail. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon. It's free, it's painless, and that makes me look way cooler than I actually am. Next up, we have an update from William Bonac. So talk about the muscle quality, talk about the density. Bonac still has got it all, although he's the oldest guy in this year's Men's Open Olympia lineup. So is this finally gonna be the year when Bonac is pushed out of that Olympia top 10 for the first time since 2015? And yes, for those of you guys who do not know, even back in 2022, he was top 9. Now honestly, it's gonna be very hard for any one of these young guys to knock him out. Just look at the competition that Bonac competed against earlier this year. He was solid in 4th place at the Pittsburgh Pro. He was 2nd at the New York Pro. He easily beat the likes of Regan Grimes, Sazan Herati, even Tonio Burton at Dubai Pro, which simply means that, once again, he might be successful in holding off all these guys for one more year. So what makes him a true legend? That is his consistency. The whole theory that the Open IBB pros, they can only peak once per year, that doesn't really apply to William Bonac. I mean, the man is about to enter his 6th show of the year, and none of us will be even remotely surprised if Bonac shows up better than all of his looks that we saw throughout this year. So the one aspect where Bonac will be most vulnerable, that is going to be his width, front to back. He isn't among those widest guys in this year's Olympia lineup, and that is where he will get exposed. So the lowest Bonac has placed since the Olympia 2015, that was top 9. So where do you guys see him this year? So how about this crazy last physique update from none other than the 2 times Arnold champion in classic physique division, Terrence Logan. So if you think about who is that one guy who will benefit the most from all these classic physique guys getting measured for their heights this weekend at the Olympia, then that's Terrence Logan. He's the only guy in this year's Olympia top 3 who has zero worries about making the weight. The reason is he was the only guy in that Olympia top 5 who had so much room to grow to get bigger, and we kept on saying that throughout this year. So there will be no losing any muscle, any body parts. Zero compromise on that overall fullness of his physique while making the weight cutoff. And we are seeing the best of Terrence Logan based on every single physique update that he has posted in the past few weeks. His quads are looking so dry, so separated, so striated. I mean, look at that side shot. Absolutely nuts. So there is a mutual consensus that he's the most classic looking man in this year's Olympia lineup because of his crazy proportions. So Terrence is ready to bring an awesome package to this year's Olympia stage. So will that lifelong dream of Terrence Logan that will finally come true this weekend at the Olympia? Will he become the fourth man to be crowned Mr. Olympia champion in Classic? So all of his team, all of his crew, his trainer, his coach, they are out there making sure that he peaks 100%. So a very dry and a very flat looking Good Vito checked in after the athletes meeting today. So Good Vito was in every Olympia discussion, whether he was in the top 10 or some even had him in their top 6. And this could be the start of an awesome Olympia career, which can be the one to remember for years. So let's all hope that Good Vito has also been working on his presentation a lot since competing at the Arnold Brazil this year, because this is a guy who can present his physique a lot better than what we saw earlier this year if he makes some posing adjustments. So Chris Aceto, his coach, he has always spoken very highly about him. And what we are all gonna see at the Olympia this year, there will be an upgrade version of Good Vito compared to what we saw at the Arnold Brazil. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Good Vito is one of the youngest guy in this year's Men's Open Olympia lineup, and the man has improved tremendously since he turned pro a few years back. So Good Vito just has that wow factor that can attract a lot of attention on any bodybuilding stage, and the man has pushed extremely hard in these last few weeks to make sure he shows up 100% on in an ideal kind of condition to his first ever Mr. Olympia, so that he makes a big statement that he has arrived. So just for the record, Martin and Good Vito, they were just separated by 1 point last year at Detroit Pro, and that speaks volume about Vito's potential. So let me know what you guys think. How high did you guys have Good Vito placing at the Olympia this year on his Olympia debut? The current condition of Logan Franklin that perfectly describes being skinless, one of the true classic physiques in this year's Olympia lineup. And this is the first time where Logan is consistently being talked about as the potential first call-out guy, but him and his team, they're aiming for #1 spot. So when he placed second behind Mike Sommerfeld at the Arnold Ohio this year, that was once in a lifetime kind of condition, something which is extremely hard to duplicate. But just by looking at this most recent physique update from him, you can just tell that it might be possible for Logan to be in an even better condition than that. So him and Patrick Tour, his coach, they're gonna pull off another amazing look, which might be a lot better than the Arnold, simply because Logan right now, he's looking more round, more muscular, and he has finally maxed out his weight cap for Classic, which by the way wasn't the case when he did the Arnold earlier this year. So presentation is the key, and you bet Logan is gonna command that stage when it comes to his posing routine and his mandatories. Logan thinks he will surprise everyone and place top 3 at the very least, meaning he's gonna take out one of the favorites, including Mike, Ramon or Terrence. So do you guys see that happening? Let me know in the comments down below. Also hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.